All right, good evening. I'd like to call the Zoning Board of Appeals for Tuesday, November 15th, 2022 to order. Will the city call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Defoe.
Here.
Mr. Friedman.
Here.
Mr. Rogers. Ms. Libet.
Here.
Mr. Havas. Here. Madam Chair, you have a quorum to conduct business.
Thank you. Are there any communications?
None at this time.
Okay, so we will move into our public hearing. For those of you who haven't joined us, let me just briefly describe how we conduct business. So the city will call the case by the case number, read a brief summary of that case. Then we'll ask the appellant to step to the podium here where there's a microphone. Make sure you pull the microphone close to where you're speaking from. And we ask you to explain to us what you're asking for and why. And then the city will read a findings of fact. We'll ask you to agree with those facts or add any other facts at that time. Then the city will read a staff recommendation. You can also add more comments after they complete their recommendation. We'll open it up to public comment for your case, and then turn it over to the board to make a decision, and then we'll move on to the next case. So will the city call the first case, please?
Yes, ma'am. Zoning Board of Appeals, case number 22-33. The appellant, Allied Signs Incorporated, representing the owner, Centro NP Southfield SC LLC, is requesting the following waiver from the board. A waiver of wall sign area, 142 square feet proposed, 84 square feet allowed. The property is located on the east side of Southfield Road between Edwards Avenue and Webster Avenue at 29816 Southfield Road, Sidwell parcel 2412301-002, zoned RS Regional Shopping. This appeal is to Chapter 99, Article 13, Sections 8.63, Paragraph 1A, more commonly known as the sign ordinance.
Thank you. Is the appellant here? Hi there, good evening.
Hi, Jim Fields, Allied Signs, 33650 Giftos Drive in Clinton Township, Michigan.
Thank you.
And we are proposing a larger wall sign. And you can see in the pictures, the lower right side, the existing sign. The existing sign meets code. It is yellow-faced. It is no longer the current branding for Planet Fitness. The current style of branding for Planet Fitness in this instance would be with the new gear logo with the purple Planet Fitness letter sets. As far as sizing on the wall, the space fits this size of branding of sign. Planet Fitness does have standards in their sizes to meet with their text and their gears. So for this shopping complex, this kind of fits that negative space in that white area and it falls into place. It also aligns with the sizes of Party City, the Big Lots, the Burlington, and the Foreman Mills in the same complex, being that it's so far back off the road.
Okay. All right, thank you. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
Yes, ma'am. The appellant, Allied Sign Incorporated, representing the owner, Centro NP Southfield SC LLC, is requesting the following waiver from the board. A waiver of wall sign area, 142 square foot proposed, 84 square feet allowed. The property is located on the east side of Southfield Road between Edwards Avenue and Webster Avenue at 29816 Southfield Road, Sidwell parcel 2412301-002, zoned RS Regional Shopping. This appeal is to Chapter 99, Article 13, Section 8.63, Paragraph 1A, more commonly known as the sign ordinance. To the north of the property is zoned RMM, Multiple Family Residential Medium-Rise District, and is occupied by Spring Haven condominiums. To the east, the property is zoned RS, occupied by a shopping plaza. To the south, the property is zoned RS, Regional Shopping District, and is occupied by a shopping plaza. To the west across Southfield Road, the property is zoned ERO, Educational Research Office, and is occupied by a shopping plaza. The subject property is zoned RS, Regional Shopping District, and is currently occupied by Planet Fitness. The site has 3 entrance exits along the Southfield Road frontage. A survey of signage at the site reveals the following signs: 7 conforming tenant wall signs for ATI Physical Therapy, Jimmy Jazz, Dollar Castle, General Nutrition Center, Bath and Body Works, Planet Fitness, and Party City. One 25-foot tall, 300-square-foot legal non-conforming ground sign as per ZBA 03-21.
All right, thank you. Do you agree with those facts?
Yes.
Okay, is there any other facts you'd like to add at this time? Okay, will the city read the staff recommendation, please?
Staff recommendation is for favorable consideration to approve the additional 58 square feet of sign, 142 square feet proposed, 84 square feet allowed, as requested with the following conditions: that the appellant secure the required permits and inspections from the City of Southfield Building Department. This recommendation is based on the following. The proposed sign is consistent with the spirit and intent of the sign ordinance. The proposed sign is in keeping with the character and surrounding area and would not have an adverse or detrimental effect upon adjacent surrounding properties.
Okay, thank you. We will now open it up to public comment. If there's anyone who wishes to speak on this case, now would be your opportunity to come forward. Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment and turn it over to the board. Mr. Friedman?
I have no issues with it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Havis?
I have no issues with either. I agree with the city.
Okay, Ms. Libet?
It is fine to me.
Okay. I agree. I'm not concerned about it. I think, again, next to Party City, I think it looks, equal in sizing, and obviously that is an enormous plaza that we want to make sure people can find their way to its businesses. So, Mr. Havis, will you make a motion for?
Sure. This is in regards to ZBA case 22-33. The appellant Allied Signs, Inc., representing the owner Centro NP Southfield SC LLC, is requesting the following waiver from the board. A waiver of wall sign area, 142 square feet proposed, 84 square feet allowed. Property is located on the east side of Southfield Road between Edwards Avenue and Webster Avenue at 29816 Southfield Road, Sidwell parcel 2412301002, zoned RS Regional Shopping. I move to approve the additional 58 square feet of sign, 142 square feet proposed, 82 square feet allowed. As requested with the following conditions: that the appellant secures all the required permits and inspections from the City of Southfield Building Department. This recommendation is based on the following. The proposed sign is consistent with the spirit and intent of the sign ordinance, and the proposed sign is in keeping with the character of the surrounding area and would not have an adverse or detrimental effect upon adjacent or surrounding properties.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, your request is granted. Just please work with the city on your permit. All right, thank you. Will the city call the next case, please?
Yes, ma'am. The case is 22-31. The appellant Scott Fisher of Midwestern Consulting LLC, representing Verizon Wireless owner, is requesting the following variance from the board: a variance of 2 feet of fence height, 6 feet permitted, 8 feet proposed. The property is located on the north side of Northwestern Highway between Mount Vernon and Lee Baker Drives at 24242 Northwestern Highway, Sidwell parcel 2426177-018, zoned OS, Office Services, and P, vehicular parking. The appeal is to section 5.37-1, Article 4, Chapter 45, Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
Thank you. Is the appellant here? Hi there, good evening. Could you
Good
state
evening,
your
zoning
name
board.
and address for the record, please?
Yep, I assume I should sign in as
That
well.
would be great, thank you.
My name is Scott Fisher with Midwestern Consulting. Our address is 3815 Plaza Drive, Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Thank you.
1 second.
And if you could just explain to us what you're asking for and why, please.
Sure. So as part of our current building expansion project, we are required to install a new electrical substation, which has been designed by DT Energy, which, as you can imagine, being a critical piece of infrastructure, they have their own unique requirements for what they deem is necessary for security. So we are requesting a variance on fence height to go from 6 feet up to 8 feet, as that is the minimum that DT Energy has told us that they can accept for a fence. We did inquire, could they try to be within code, and they said they could, but it would require barbed wire on the fence, which is not required in this area, so 8 feet is then the minimum that we can really accept, and really it all has to do with security. Of when it comes to, as you can imagine, any electrical infrastructure, we all deal with blackouts and we all get frustrated by it. So we're looking to make sure that there's no miscellaneous type things that could happen to it. Additionally, this facility for Verizon Wireless is critical to their actual network. It handles a lot of the phone calls that come in and out, so it has a direct impact on E911 and other services. So again, security is at the forefront of our mind with all of this. Other reason for the request is currently on site, there is for lack of a better term, an identical fence that currently exists that is staying in place. It's the same decorative type. It is also currently 8 feet tall, and it was our thought that it becomes much less visually noticeable, keeping all of the fence at the same 8-foot height for around the property. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you or any of members of the board may have.
Okay, thank you very much. Just stay right there for us. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
For ZBA case 22-31, the appellant Scott Fisher of Midwestern Consulting LLC, representing Verizon Wireless owner, is requesting the following variance from the board. A variance of 2 feet of fence height, 6 feet permitted, 8 feet proposed. And please note this is a change from the legal notice. Property is located on the north side of Northwestern between Mount Vernon Street and Lee Baker Drive at 24242 Northwestern Highway, Sidwell parcel 2426177-018, zoned OS office service and P vehicular parking. The subject property is developed with an office and data processing facility for Verizon Wireless. Properties to the north are zoned OS office service and RE single-family residential, and are developed with an office building and single-family homes fronting Lee Baker Drive. Properties to the east are zoned RE single-family residential and are developed with single-family homes fronting Lafayette Circle. Properties to the west across Northwestern Highway are zoned OS office service and are developed with various general office buildings. The property to the south is zoned OS office service and vehicular parking and is developed with an office building fronting Northwestern Highway. The site contains 7.13 acres of land with 653.62 feet of frontage on Northwestern Highway and a depth of 700.4 feet. The site plan approved by City Council in February 2022 reflects the demolition of a portion of the existing building and the construction of a new 43,951 gross square foot building addition for administration and data processing necessary to support the mobile network. The plan also reflects a new DTE substation, exterior generators, exterior electrical equipment, as well as new wrought iron fencing across the south entrance drive and around the DTE substation. The site has an existing legal nonconforming 8-foot tall fence that crosses the northerly driveway. Fencing was installed prior to our current fence ordinance being adopted in 2012. Subject fencing around the substation and across the entrance drive was originally proposed at 6 feet in height, but for increased security purposes and to match the height of the existing fencing across the north driveway, petitioner wishes to increase the fence height to 8 feet. The approved landscape plan reflects the retention of 9 mature maple trees ranging in size from 12 to 15 inches in diameter within the Northwestern Highway service drive right-of-way, which is directly adjacent to the proposed fenced-in substation. The approved landscape plan also reflects 14 additional evergreen trees, 6 to 7 feet in height, minimum, to be planted in this area, which will further obscure and soften the view of the substation and proposed 8-foot tall fencing. The Zoning Board of Appeals has granted similar variances of fencing height for other public utility uses within the city. ZBA cases 2101 and 1828 granted variances to permit fencing within the front yard, a fence height of 7 feet with barbed wire, and the use of fencing slats on February 16th, 2021 and October 16th, 2018, respectively, for the Oakland County Water Authority property located at 22430 West 8 Mile Road, and the Zoning Board of Appeals also granted variances of fencing within the front yard, 2 feet of fence height, and use of barbed wire on non-industrial zone property for the Great Lakes Water Authority property located at 20920 East Street in ZBA case 2017, approved on November 17, 2020. Both were similar situations due to the need for increased security for public utility uses.
Great, thank you. Do you agree with those facts?
I do.
Okay, anything else you'd like to add at this time?
Just to point out that when we originally did the design of this, we did try to look at other alternatives where we wouldn't have, that was not our intent, was to need a variance. The unfortunate thing is our really only other location would be closer to the houses, and we determined that the side with the freeway was probably better for a substation versus the side more towards residential. So we did our best to stay within the ordinance, but unfortunately, we need to request a variance, so
Okay, thank you.
appreciate consideration.
Thank you. Will the city read staff recommendation, please?
Staff's recommendation is to approve the variance requested based on the following. The existing legal non-conforming 8-foot-tall decorative wrought iron fencing has existed on the property along the northerly drive since at least 2007 without issue or complaints from any adjacent properties. Site security is essential on the property due to the fact that there is a DT substation and exterior electrical equipment and generators for Verizon proposed within the fenced-in area. Fence height variances have been granted at similar public utility properties within the city, and the variances requested will not be obtrusive or injurious to surrounding properties due to the commercial nature of the area, the existing mature trees and proposed evergreen trees screening the fencing, and decreased visibility of the fencing due to the fast-moving traffic along the Northwestern Highway Service Drive.
Great, thank you. Okay, anything else, or we can open it? Okay, so
Go
we'll
right ahead.
open public comment at this point for this case. If there's anyone here who wishes to speak on this case, now is your time. Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment and turn it over to the board. Ms. Lozman?
Okay,
Any questions?
no questions.
Okay.
Just the landscaping will be quite pleasant, and we appreciate that.
All right. Mr. Havis?
Yeah, I have no issues with either. It's fine with me.
Okay. Mr. Friedman?
I don't have any issues with it either.
All right. Yep, I mean, I think, again, for the need of security for our public utilities, I think that is what lends my support. I don't think that we should have 8 feet fencing often, but I think when it's necessary for important securities like this, I'm in support. So, Ms. Levitt, will you make a motion for us?
Sure. The property is located on the north side of Northwestern Highway between Mount Vernon Street and Lee Baker Drive at 24242 Northwestern Highway, Sidwell parcel 2426-177-018, zoned office service and vehicular parking. I would move that the 2 feet, the variance requested based on the following: the existing legal non-conforming 8-foot-tall decorative wrought iron fencing be allowed to be added to the fence height as a variance.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, your request is granted. Thank you. Will the city call the next case, please?
Yes, ma'am. Case number 22-32, the appellant David Dowling of Yukon Building Builder representing Silver Fern Southfield LLC. Owner is requesting the following variance from the board: a variance of 25 feet 2 inches of building height, 25 feet permitted, 50 feet 2 inches existing. The property is located on the east side of Franklin Road between Swanson and 11 Mile Road at 26620 Franklin Road, Sidwell parcel 2420201-015, zoned OS, Office Services. The appeal is to Section 5.194, Article 22, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
Great, thank you. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Bill Meyer. I'm representing the owner tonight. the reason for the variance is that the property was rezoned to accommodate a memory care facility for an existing building. And at that time, the variance wasn't requested. And so now the building was brought into nonconformance for the intended use, which was the reason for the rezoning. So the variance is to allow the intended use to happen in this building that's there. Is that clear?
Okay, no problem. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
For ZBA case 22-32, the appellant David Dowling of Yukon Builder, representing Silver Fern Southfield LLC owner, is requesting the following variance from the board. Variance of 25 feet 2 inches of building height, 25 feet permitted, 50 feet 2 inches existing. Property is located on the east side of Franklin Road between Swanson and 11 Mile Roads at 26620 Franklin Road, Sidwell parcel 2420201-015, zoned OS office service. The existing site was previously approved for hotel use, currently approved for assisted living and memory care use. The property to the north is Zone B3 General Business and is developed with a parking lot for the existing Best Western Premier Hotel. Property to the south is zoned OS Office Service and is developed with an office building. Property to the east is Zone B3 General Business and is developed with the Best Western Premier Hotel. Property to the west across Franklin Road is zoned R2 Single Family Residential and is developed with the Christian Tabernacle Church. The area of the proposed assisted living memory care facility consists of 1.41 acres of land with 504.98 feet of frontage on Franklin Road and a depth of approximately 827 feet. The approved rezoning and site plan indicates the rezoning of the property from B3 General Business to OS Office Service and the conversion of the existing building from previously approved hotel use to a facility for human care, which will consist of assisted living and memory care. Due to the change in use from hotel to facility for human care, the property required a rezoning to OS Office Service, which has a maximum building height of 25 feet. The property is contiguous to OS property to the south, and the OS district is typically used as a transitional zone between higher intensity commercial districts, for example, B3 to the east, and residential zoning to the west, in this case. The building has existed at the current 50-foot height since approximately 1965, when the building was originally constructed. No, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Do you agree with those facts?
Correct. I just maybe add one more thing.
Sure.
Is that the building's been vacant for a long time. It's been, the owners pursued multiple different kinds of uses. They looked at executive stay, hotels, they looked at trying to make them into apartments and everything else. I think that the memory care facility is the most viable use for the property at the moment or at this time. And so granting this variance would allow for the renovation of this building and put it back in use rather than having a vacant building there.
Okay, thank you. Will the city read the staff recommendation, please?
Staff's recommendation is for favorable consideration of the variance request based upon the following. The height variance requested is not expected to have adverse effects on the surrounding properties. Because the building has existed at 50 feet in height for over 55 years, the impact on the open space or light for neighboring properties will remain unchanged. And the height variance is needed due to the rezoning from B3 General Business, which has unlimited height requirements, to OS Office Service to accommodate the use. However, the OS Office Service district is more appropriate for the area than the prior B3 because it provides transition between the existing commercial development to the east and the single-family zoning designation to the west.
Okay, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add? Okay, so
No,
we
at
will
this time.
open public comment. If there's anybody who wishes to speak on this case, seeing none, we'll close public comment and turn it over to the board. Mr. Havis?
Yeah, I have no issues with it. I agree with the recommendations.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Friedman?
I don't have any issues with it. Glad to see the building will be used. I just have a question, just for my understanding. When any time zoning changes, when this, I assume that's done by the city council, any anything in the thing is not considered existing non-conforming anymore and would need a variance for every,
If I might, through the chair to Mr. Friedman, we had discussed that. It would be illegal non-conforming. We like to clean it up when possible. We've had other situations where, people are requesting zoning compliance letters, and for some reason, they like to see that there's an actual variance on file versus stating that there's legal non-conforming. Even though, even with our legal non-conforming, you can still rebuild, but it helps to,
so it
helps to
it
put
might
people's
also
mind
be, it might also be considered legal non-conforming.
Yes.
Okay. I have no issues with it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Libet?
No, I'm fine with it as well.
Okay. Yep, and I agree with my colleagues. Mr. Friedman, will you make a motion for us?
Sure. In regards to ZBA case 22-32, the appellant David Dowling of Yukon Building, builder representing Silver Fern Southfield LLC owner, is requesting a variance of 25 feet 2 inches of building height, 25 feet permitted, 50 feet 2 inches existing. Property is located on the east side of Franklin Road between Swanson and 11 Mile Roads at 26620 Franklin Road, Citadel parcel 24202011015. I move that we approve the waiver because the height variance is not expected to have any adverse effects, and that the building has been there for many years, and that the variance is needed because of the rezoning.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Your request is granted.
Thank
you. All right, so that closes our public hearings, and next, looks like we don't have any minutes. So our next meeting is December 6th, and looks like we currently have 3 cases. Are we closed for that meeting, or could we have more?
Yeah, we're closed for the 6th,
Okay.
but that will also be our year-end meeting.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, so for those of you that are new to the board, our year-end meeting is when we revisit our, I don't know, they're not rules of engagement, what are they called? Our operating
Rules of procedure.
rules and procedures.
Okay, thank you.
So we basically look at those if we have, and usually we'll send them out in advance
Yes.
for everyone to look at. If we have questions that we'd like legal to answer, we can submit those in advance, and then they will attend and answer any questions if we have any. We re-elect our chair and secretary, or we don't re-elect, but we elect the chair and secretary. And do we have any other annual business, or are those the 2 things?
We would also go over next year's calendar.
Oh, the calendar.
Okay,
Yep, the
great.
calendar for next year. So if people keep an eye on any dates that are important holidays or whatnot, that's usually what we're looking for. So, okay, any questions about the December 6th meeting?
That's our annual meeting in essence.
That's right, first December meeting. Yeah, and
Right.
sometimes we don't have any cases and we just meet and have like kind of our business meeting.
Okay.
But we'll do both this time.
All right.
Okay, anybody have any miscellaneous? Okay, seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So
Move adjournment.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All right, we are adjourned.